A very good morning to all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, we warmly welcome you all to this market opening ceremony today. As we all know, market opening ceremonies are organized here at the Colombo Stock Exchange trading floor in order to celebrate important developments in the Sri Lankan capital market. And this is why the bell-ringing ceremony today celebrates the occasion of the listing of the shares of Hela Apparel Holdings Limited on the Colombo Stock Exchange. What makes this listing even more significant is the fact that Hela Apparel Holdings Limited marks the first equity initial public offering issue for the year 2022. The shares of Hela Apparel Holdings Limited will be listed on the main board of the Colombo Stock Exchange, and it will be classified under the consumer durables and apparel sector. As one of the leading apparel supply chain solution providers in the country, Hela Apparel comes to the industry with over 3 decades of experience. The company has built strategic relationships with some of the world's leading apparel brands and is also equipped with a strong and dynamic workforce of 18,000 individuals across Sri Lanka and the African continent. So ladies and gentlemen, as we congratulate the company on this successful listing, I'd like to commence the proceedings this morning as we present to you the official corporate videos of the Colombo Stock Exchange and Hela Apparel Holdings Limited.
Banking on the entrepreneurial spirit of the Sri Lankan people, the Colombo Stock Exchange builds on a share trading tradition that has existed in Sri Lanka for over a century. The business of share trading that commenced with plantation companies in 1896 continues to thrive today as a matured and vibrant stock market that mobilizes capital flows of over 300 billion rupees a year.
We have leveraged on the combined experience and expertise of the industry to leapfrog on multiple fronts. As we look towards a possible re-rating of the market upwards, what is on the cards are major infrastructure developments, new product introductions, widening of the investor base, building a sustainable business model, and most importantly, working with the government and the regulator to position the CSE as a pivotal point for capital raising.
The CSE in its present form began in 1985 when the Colombo Securities Exchange Guarantee Limited was incorporated as a company limited by guarantee formed by 7 stockbroker firms. Today, as the operator of the stock market in Sri Lanka, we offer state-of-the-art pre-trade, trade and post-trade platforms. Our stakeholder base also includes the regulator, the Securities and Exchange Commission of Sri Lanka, over 700,000 local and foreign institutional and individual investors, members of staff of the stock exchange, and other market intermediaries who go and make up the ecosystem of the Sri Lankan capital market.
Stock exchange operations around the globe have evolved significantly, and so has the CSE. Our trading operations, which started with an open outcry system and investors visiting the public trading floor, today is delivered through a state-of-the-art multi-asset class automated trading system and a central depository system. CSE has engaged in a drive to digitalize all stakeholder touchpoints in the stock market, enabling end-to-end connectivity electronically.
CSE over the years have invested in technology because we understand a robust, secure and cutting-edge technology is the backbone of a modern exchange. Today, our IT systems and infrastructure supports a sustainable business model by securing processing transactions, generating accurate and real-time market data, and offering speedy, convenient, reliable access to the market users. We have also focused strengthening our information and cybersecurity and building internal capabilities to support the market-wide digitization strategy.
Establishing regulatory readiness to navigate through a Sri Lankan business landscape that has changed substantially since CSE was first established has been a material focus.
regulation must evolve to support the development plan or the development strategy of the exchange, and that is something that we have always followed. Compared to the inception of the Colombo Stock Exchange 35 years ago, we have been able to transform our listing framework to make it really attractive for issuers to come and raise capital by listing their securities through the Colombo Stock Exchange. And for this purpose, we have been able to diversify our listing platforms and listing boards, giving them various listing options to benefit. In terms of overall regulation, our focus has always been investor protection, creating and maintaining a fair and orderly market, and also facilitating capital formation.
The CSE has taken decisive steps to diversify from a single product market to one that offers multiple products. Real estate investment trusts, the creation of an OTC market for repos on corporate debt, trading of gold products, and stock borrowing and lending are already in the process of being introduced. On the regulatory and governance fronts, the new SEC Act, we believe, will be an important development covering regulatory changes required to continue to safeguard investor rights.
The investor base in the Sri Lankan stock market has grown steadily, and measures taken by CSE to increase the retail investor base and foreign investment fund flows rapidly to create a vibrant securities market have been focused and consistent. We have used multiple strategies to attract local and foreign investors. End-to-end digitalization is helping us to widen the local investor base. The Invest Sri Lanka series has been effective in taking the message of our stock market and opportunities globally, and in attracting foreign fund flows into the country. As we look ahead, CSE envisions to play a competitive role and be among the leading regional markets, harnessing our key strengths of the established infrastructure and the reputation built.
We have evolved, we have changed, we have developed, but one thing that remains unchanged is our focus on maintaining the integrity and the quality of the market.
We will continue our journey towards success, and we value our stakeholders whose confidence in us stood unaltered. I would like to recognize the role played by our listed companies, our investors, and all market intermediaries who placed confidence in the CSE. Also recognize the untiring efforts of board members, present and past, as well as the CSE staff, including those who served previously.
Colombo's Stock Exchange, a transformative past, a vibrant future.
3 decades ago, Hela set out on a mission to change the apparel game. And now, 3 decades later, we're still pushing the boundaries of what's possible. At Hela, we're testing our minds to be different, to be better. We're always on top of our game with a vibe that keeps it fresh.
Hey, maybe you've heard of us, maybe even seen our logo, but you've definitely seen our work.
We're the team behind the team that brought you what you love to wear. We're the dreamers and the innovators imagining a more sustainable tomorrow. We're the ones leaving our mark across the globe, doing things that have never been done before, with our teams in New York to London to Paris. And our factories in Sri Lanka, Kenya, Ethiopia and Egypt. Our operations extend across the map. We've got the power, the drive and the teams to take on any scale of production. It's a grind that won't stop, with limits that are never confined. Launching new initiatives such as Hela Dirilia and PACE that not only economically empower our workforce, but also educate and enrich the lives of our global family, along with providing over 5 million litres of fresh water. And that's why we say yes to creating a better planet, and no to single-use plastic, waste or any liquid discharge at our multiple factories powered by the sun. These are the people we would do anything for, the legends behind what we are today, the ones pushing the limits of apparel.
But that doesn't mean we're done. We're only just getting started. We are Hela.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to invite on stage the chairman of the Colombo Stock Exchange, Mr. Dumit Fernando, in order to deliver the opening remarks of the ceremony.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this special occasion for the bell ringing to mark the occasion of the listing of Hela Apparel Holdings Limited on the main board of the Colombo Stock Exchange. I think in terms of the day's proceedings, we are obviously waiting for the main event of the bell ringing, but I must comment on the video we watched, particularly of Hela Apparel, and I think I can very clearly say on behalf of the Colombo Stock Exchange, its board and its employees, as well as the investor community, that we're extremely happy and proud to welcome you for this listing event today. Firstly, let me welcome some guests today representing Hela Apparel Holdings Limited, the primary shareholder, Mr. Tom Singh, the chairman, Mr. A.R. Rasaya, non-executive director, Ms. Aroshi Nanakara, group CEO, Dilanka Jinadasa, CEO of the Kids Cluster, Mr. Sanat Amaratunga, CEO of the Kinetics Cluster, Mr. Viraj Fernando, Director of Design and Innovation, Ms. Sajika De Silva, and the longest-serving employee, Ms. Shimali Pereira. Also, let me welcome the managers to the offer today and their teams of CTCLSA Securities Private Limited, led by Mr. Sakir Muhammad Ali, and of Capital Alliance Limited, led by Mr. Deshan Pusparaja. Also representing the CSE, we have Mr. Renuka Vijayawardena, the CRO, and the staff and management. We talked with, the CSE video you saw up there was recorded about a year ago. And at that stage, I think we talked about wanting to create a marketplace for better capital raising. I think at that stage, though, we had not seen a significant initial public offering in the market for a very long time. But gosh, what a difference 18 months makes. We have had record listings in the last year of over 120 billion rupees of capital raising. And today, to top it all off, we have the largest IPO in the equity markets since the resurgence of the equity markets at the Colombo Stock Exchange. So it is indeed a happy day for the CSE as much as it is for you all at Hela. It is also impressive that we are bringing together not just the largest IPO, but something that was oversubscribed to the tune of about 5.5 times. So that's on an issuance of 4 billion rupees. That also gives us a lot of confidence in the strength of this capital market as a venue for fundraising. And our objective has been to not just bring more companies onto our boards, but also a much more diverse group of companies that give many more options for investors to participate in this market. And on that account, to have a company like Hela, who is almost entirely export focused, at a time when many investors are looking for export-oriented companies to invest in, as well as something that is international. It is truly international. I think you have 19,000 employees and spread across Sri Lanka and East Africa. It is truly a story of Sri Lankan entrepreneurship, Sri Lankan ingenuity, and a story of internationalization of some of our best companies. And we are very happy and humbled to have companies like that listed on the Colombo Stock Exchange, and that is exactly where we would like to head going forward as well. The apparel industry, of course, is one of the key contributors to our economy, particularly our export segment, and being the largest industrial export segment, it is notable, I think, Hela has to be, not in textiles, but the first actual large apparel exporter that is coming to listing. So that again is another milestone for us. And this also ticks another box in our journey of trying to get a more representative group of companies listed on our stock exchange. So I know we are always racing to 10:30 when we do these welcome ceremonies, but I do want to close by wishing the Hela Group and its shareholders, its board, and its employees all the very best, and full success in its post-listing environment. I think everyone is very excited about how this stock performs, and I can give you with a very good, I have a very good bet on which direction it'll go in. It's just a matter of how far. So I would like to thank everyone involved, including the CSE management team, who went through a very focused process on getting this approved quickly, because we wanted this a company of this stature to get to the listing board very, very soon. So good luck, and I hope that all of your ambitions get realized after listing, but also helped by the listing, hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fernando. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd now like to invite on stage the chairman of Hela Apparel Holdings Limited, Mr. A.R. Razaya, on stage to welcome the gathering.
Morning, everybody. Thank you very much for the short but nice introduction of Hela. I was expecting to speak just after the bell rang, but I have to change my speech a little bit to make sure that I made the correct adjustments, because I'm speaking before the bell rings. The bell rings at 10:30, I believe, where the stock exchange of Sri Lanka will start trading. It's also, the bell ringing makes us very happy, because this is the first time that Hela Apparel Holdings Company shares will be trading. Having said that, the bell ringing has different tones and different reasons for us. We have started maybe about 5 years ago on a special journey. Such journeys has its ups and downs, humps and dumps, but we have been very resilient. The challenge has been part and parcel of our success. We have been resilient to the extent of overcoming all the issues that we became. And so much so, we have got tremendous confidence, support and trust, both by the employees as well as the other stakeholders. A quick recollection of our history. I'm not going to say anything. We have been pioneering in many fields, virtually single-handed on our own. For example, when the multitude of exporters went to Bangladesh to start exporting from there, we did not go there. For the reason we knew there are already 6 or 7 players, and we'll be another player fighting for the same pie. So what did we do? We entered into virgin territory, Africa. At one time we thought we were mad or not to get into Africa, but we did. We had the courage of conviction to go to Kenya. We had errors, we had our faults, we did recover, and we made good progress. That gave us a lot of encouragement. We extended our tentacles to Ethiopia and later to Tanzania. And why? Again, we were moved to the Middle East. Again, the first time, because we believe the first time visitor always gets the best. And of course, we have been wiser on our way. The time we took to settle down in Kenya was comparatively much longer than the time we took to settle down in Egypt. It was minuscule. So much so for that, now we get on to our own IPO, initial public offering. When we started, we wanted a certain amount of money. The amount was large. We were wondering whether we would get it. But again, by having pioneered and being the first on so many occasions, we felt very confident that we have performed well. We are an export-oriented company, that we could succeed. And indeed, we succeeded. First garment manufacturers to venture into this IPO. We moved on, first again, to have such a large followers, such a large number of applications, some large number of possible investors. And I heard in the morning, which I didn't know, or which I had overlooked, that we were the first for the year 2022. That's another first for us. And then, of course, we are humbled by the number of applicants we got, which was more than 5 times the amount that we wanted. Tremendous encouragement, tremendous word of honor, tremendous satisfaction for us. And then that is not all. There were more than 23,000 applicants who came thronged onto the on-site web. So much so, I'm sure you would know, the website crashed. So we had to extend the time limit to accommodate all the online applications. So much so for that. Then what has happened? Now we are moved into new territory. We had to perform because so many are on our team. There are 23,000 plus. Our team is very, very big. We are convinced, or we are, what shall I say, committed to our customers to give them innovative, cost-conscious, and sustainable manufacturing products, which is world-renowned, which obviously will make our other stakeholders also happy. Having said that, now I must wind up quickly with a round of word of thanks to so many who helped us. It is difficult for me to individualize, but in groups, I would say, first and foremost, to our 19,000 odd employees of various categories and various positions, who ably led by our youthful CEO, Delanka, who is here with us, right? And to make this such a success. Then, of course, when it came to IPO, we must be honest, we were a bit of a clueless Johnnies, but certainly we had to thank Cal and CSE, who came to our aid, helped us, advised us, navigated us to this such a wonderful, successful IPO, possibly the best, one of the best in Sri Lanka. Incidentally, I am told the value is one of the highest in more than a decade of operation. Then, of course, our word of thanks to our shareholders, the major shareholders. They came to us when we were in dire straits a few years back, and they are with us all the time. In fact, they all flown down on this big occasion to participate in this celebration. We also must say there's a novelty in our system which they introduced to us, that is, which we are not familiar, which I am familiar because I had worked for a multinational earlier, is the concept of board of directors in Sri Lanka who are, what shall I say, who are, now you broke my trend also, okay. The board of directors who are following the rules and regulations, the laws of Sri Lanka. But at the same time, the shareholders have what is called an advisory board. This is a successful concept in the West, which they have introduced to us, and which is one of the reasons, maybe, that a success of our company. With that short note, the bell is going to ring. I don't want to stand in the way. Thank you very much for all of you. Thank you very much for this successful event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Razaya. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the most anticipated moment of today's ceremony. So without any further ado, let me call upon stage the following individuals from Hela Apparel Holdings Limited. Primary shareholder, Mr. Tom Singh. Chairman, Mr. A.R. Razaya. Non-executive director, Ms. Aroshi Nanayakara. CEO, Kids Cluster, Mr. Sanath Amarthunga. CEO, Kinetics Cluster, Mr. Viraj Fernando. Director, Design and Innovation, Ms. Sajika De Silva. And longest-serving employee, Ms. Shimali Pereira. From the Colombo Stock Exchange, Mr. Dumith Fernando, Chairman, and Mr. Renuka Vijayawardena, Chief Regulatory Officer, on stage. Thank you, everyone. May I now kindly invite the Chairman of the Colombo Stock Exchange, Mr. Dumith Fernando, and CRO, Mr. Renuka Vijayawardena, to present the listing certificate and a token of appreciation to Mr. A.R. Razaya and Mr. Tom Singh. Thank you very much, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, we end today's market opening ceremony organized to celebrate the listing of the shares of Hela Apparel Holdings Limited on the Colombo Stock Exchange. Once again, while congratulating the company on a successful listing, we'd like to wish the company all the very best. I would also like to thank our distinguished guests for gracing us with their valuable time and, of course, their ardent participation. And let me wish you all a pleasant day. Thank you.